Well, I'm worried about the big cities. If you look, Americans who are working from home for the first time, 1 in 4 say they're not going back to the office. And half of those people say they're not going to pay the rent to live in New York, San Francisco, or even Seattle. So we expect there will be something close to an exodus from these really large cities where housing is so expensive to places like Charleston or Madison, Wisconsin, or Boise, Idaho, places where it's just more affordable and you can still walk around town a little bit. That's where the search traffic has already shifted on our website. If you look where people are searching on redfin.com, it is overwhelmingly in small towns. And that's even when the search traffic is coming from the big city. So that's what I'm most worried about, is that the big cities really have to get it in gear to make housing more affordable, or people are just going to go.
You know, there have been so many dire predictions in the past regarding New York City specifically and the real estate market, Glenn, as you know. I mean, after 9/11, they thought that the real estate market there would be gone when nobody would want to live in New York City anymore. And then look where it went after that in terms of luxury building and the influx of residents. So, I mean, how confident are you that, that this sort of prediction is going to hold true this time around? What has changed that makes it more resonant?
Well, I think 9/11 was this incredible event that made people question whether they wanted to live in a big city, but it wasn't as durable as what we're going through now. There was an affordability crisis for 5 years before this pandemic. And if you look at New York, it was losing people to Philly. Boston was losing people to Rhode Island and New Hampshire. Seattle was losing people to Portland and Austin, Texas. So the major cities were already losing people prior to the pandemic.
Wow, this news is devastating. It's devastating. And it's worse than we thought, because I made a video before all the experts were talking about this about a week ago. And now they're starting to ramp up, talking about the potential exodus from not just New York, but from multiple big cities. And I don't blame anybody from leaving the big cities, because they have been traumatized and scarred, and they don't know what the future can hold. They don't know whether it's going to make a comeback. They don't know how this is going to affect their family, their business, their livelihood. So right now, fear is dictating a lot of the movements we're doing. And it should, because we don't know what tomorrow will hold. We have hope, but hope could take you so far, especially when you don't know what the next day will be. So people are leaving the big cities, they believe, and they're heading towards rural areas. It's already documented, and it's already has people already looking on different real estate sites for rural areas. So I've been talking about this before this happened, and I'm glad that now the media has finally caught up to talk about the potential problems that's going to affect big cities. And I'm going to talk more about the cities and what the potential problems were in future videos. And also in my next video, guys, I'm going to start to talk about the other side effect of what we went through. We've been inundated by what we can't do and what we can't eat and how close we get. And what that produces in us is fear. And fear, after a while, doesn't dissipate. It can stay if it's not dealt with. And fear then produces phobias. And phobias are extreme versions of fear. And when we're so terrified of germs, you know where that leads. Germaphobe. We're going to see a huge increase in this behavior called germophobic behavior. They're going to have doctors and mental specialists and everyone else and therapists to deal with this side effect of this problem. Children are going to deal with this because they're going to see their panic in their parents' eyes. So they're going to be terrified of germs. And so now what we're going to deal with in the next wave of probably a mental issue is going to be germophobic behavior. And I'm going to talk about that in my next video of looking out for that type of behavior. Thank you guys for watching this, and I will see you next time.